Most men who find themselves looking for a guide like this one already have a deep feeling that their own nature and how they act matters a whole lot. You have likely heard this before. You know it deep in your heart. And if you are like most men, you probably believe that you have a pretty good heart and a kind way about you. And yet, even with that good heart, you might still find that you are not getting the kind of warm responses you truly want from the women you feel a spark with. There is a reason for this, and in almost every single case, it is not because you are missing good or attractive parts of yourself. It is simply because you might not fully see what certain ways of being do to a woman's heart on the inside. You might not see what these qualities say about you, what they build for a woman, and what happens at a level she cannot even control when those qualities are missing from your talks and your time together. So that is what our time together today is really about. This is not just a simple list of things to do. It is a new way to see the world. By the time we are done, you are going to see yourself and the way you show up for others in a very different light. Now, I want to welcome you to this space of learning. I am a helper and a guide for men who want to find and keep real love. I spend my days supporting men with good hearts so they can find deeply loving partners and build a life together that lasts. I work with men one-on-one in a very private and caring way. So, if you have been following these lessons for a while, or if your life has changed lately and you think, maybe it is time to ask for a little help, then you are more than welcome to sign up for a talk with me. We will just chat like friends. We will get to know each other and see if we are the right match to work together on your journey. On the other hand, if trying to find love again after a marriage has ended has felt much harder than you thought it would be, there is a very real reason for that. Many of the men I talk to are not doing anything wrong, but without knowing it, they are repeating the same old steps in dating that quietly push away the kind of women they actually want, while pulling in the kind of people who might not be a good fit. Because of this, I have put together a special 20-minute talk that explains all of this in a very simple way. The men who have watched this talk often tell me the exact same thing. They finally understand what was happening and they know what to do differently now. So if you are ready to be more thoughtful and careful with your heart, and you want more than just lots of dates but instead want a real bond, then this talk is worth your time. It will help you find the kind of woman who is steady in her feelings and ready for a real life together. If that talk feels right to you, I have also built a full program to help men learn these skills step by step in their real lives. You can do this all in private from the comfort of your own favorite chair at home. You are welcome to watch that free talk first, and you can find the way to get there in the notes below this message. Now let us start by talking about what a personality actually is. We use that word all the time, but it deserves a bit more care. In the world of understanding how people work, this word talks about the steady and lasting ways we think, feel, and act in the world. It is not just how you feel on one specific Tuesday night or a single date. It is also not the version of yourself that you try to put on like a costume when you are feeling a bit shaky or nervous. Let's be honest, when we are nervous, we act like a very different person than we do when we are feeling calm and safe. The deep, strong building blocks of who you truly are, that is your personality. And here is why this is so important for finding love. Women who are in touch with their feelings are always reading those building blocks. They might not always be able to use big words to explain what they are picking up, but they feel it deep down. If you have been learning with this group of caring experts for a while, you know that women often make their choices based on how they feel. That is why, when they do not feel a pull toward you, they might say they didn't feel a spark or they weren't feeling what they hoped to feel. For a woman, it is almost always about the feeling in the room. Every quality I am going to share with you today either creates a pull that brings her closer to you or a quiet, natural feeling that makes her want to step back. So let us get very clear about these things. The first quality is being grounded. This means being like a tall tree that stays steady even when the wind blows or things get a little messy. I want you to imagine this. You are out on a date with a wonderful woman and something goes a little bit wrong. Maybe you didn't quite understand what she meant, or there is a moment where nobody knows what to say. Maybe a joke you told didn't make her laugh, or you said something that sounded a bit clunky. Watch what most men do when that happens. They start talking too much to try and explain themselves. They try to take back what they said. They look very uncomfortable and they try to fix it or make everything smooth again. Some men will just get very quiet and stiff like a board. Others will fill the room with so much nervous energy that the woman has to start taking care of his feelings instead of just enjoying the night. That steady, calm feeling is not something a woman can just talk herself into liking. It happens in her heart without her even thinking about it. It tells her, this man is safe. It tells her that this man will not fall apart when life gets hard. And we all know life gets very hard sometimes. If a woman is coming out of a long relationship that was difficult, that signal of being steady is not just nice. It is something that makes her feel safe deep in her soul. Now, look at what a steady, grounded man does. He sees the awkward moment. He might even talk about it simply without making it a big deal. He might give a small, kind smile, like a man who likes himself enough to think that an awkward moment is actually a little bit sweet or funny. And then he just stays calm. His voice stays the same. He doesn't try to save the night. He is just there with her, or he says something simple and moves back to what they were talking about before. Being grounded does not mean you have no feelings. It just means you have a steady friendship with yourself. You do not need every single second to be perfect for you to feel okay. The second quality is having a real desire to learn about others. This is about being truly curious, especially about things you do not know much about. I see a pattern with a lot of people, and I want you to hear this with a kind heart. When you feel a bit unsure in a talk, you might go back to what you know best. You might start talking about yourself, your job, or things you are an expert in. You might say, "Oh, I had a similar thing happen to me," and then you tell your own story to try and show her you understand. You move the talk back to your own world because it feels safer there. It feels like the talk is going better because you know what you are saying. But here is what is happening for her. She starts to feel like she is just watching a show. The talk is happening at her, not with her. After a while, she might stop paying as much attention. She is still smiling and nodding her head, but she is already thinking about what she will tell her friends the next day, about why it didn't work out. Real curiosity is the opposite of that. It is a man who hears something she says and chooses to go deeper into her world. Let's say she mentions she started painting again after a long time. A surface-level question would be, "Oh, that is nice. What do you paint?" That is polite, but she will forget it by tomorrow. A deeper, more curious question would be, "Wow, painting sounds wonderful. What made you want to pick up the brush again right now? Did something change in your life lately?" That kind of question goes past the painting and looks at the person. You aren't just collecting facts like a grocery list. You want to know what makes her heart move. That is what real curiosity does. You aren't just some guy she met. You are the man who made her feel like she is a person worth exploring. The third quality is having clear values, and having values that are worth having. This is a very important point. Being sure of what you believe is attractive, but what you actually believe matters too. Think about a man who lives by 3 simple rules he never breaks. First, integrity. He does what he says he will do, even when it is hard or costs him something. Second, presence. The people he cares about actually have his full attention when he is with them. Third, growth. When someone he looks up to tells him he might be wrong, he doesn't get angry. He goes back to that curious mindset. A man like this doesn't walk into a date and announce his values. He doesn't say, "Just so you know, I am a man of great honesty." In fact, if you ever hear someone say that out loud, you should probably be a bit careful. You do not need to tell people what your values are because you are living them. People see them in how you talk about others. They see them in how you handle a moment of trouble without pointing fingers. They see them in the quiet way you take responsibility when things go wrong. When a woman sits across from a man like that, she feels something she can't quite put a name to yet. She feels like she is with someone real. She thinks, something is different about him. It doesn't feel like he is putting on a show or only showing the best parts of his life. It feels like a real man. That is what living your values does. It makes you visible in the very best way. And the right woman is not just looking for that, she is wishing for it. The fourth quality is warmth, but it is a slow and steady warmth that doesn't want anything in return right away. I want you to really think about this one because it happens a lot to men who are dating again after a divorce or a big breakup. When you are starting over, there is often a very natural feeling of hurry. It is not that you are desperate, it is just a very human hunger to feel a bond again. You want to feel like a woman sees you and wants to be near you. That is a completely normal human feeling. But when that hunger for a bond is what moves you, things usually go wrong. You might try to rush the feelings. You might tell her she is the most amazing woman ever after only 2 talks. You might try even harder when she isn't quite ready to move fast. What she feels underneath all of that is the heavy weight of what you need from her. She doesn't feel like she is being sought after. She feels like she is being asked to fix how you feel. That is something most women cannot do, even if they really like you. Compare that to a man who is just truly warm. He really likes being with this woman. He thinks she is interesting. He lets things grow at a natural pace without any hurry. You do not need her to be super excited tonight just so you can feel good tomorrow. You are just there with her, wherever things are at that moment. That kind of patience is a very loud signal. It says, "I am not here just because I am lonely. I am here because I am interested in you." That isn't being cold. It is just being a man who is okay on his own. And being okay on your own is one of the most attractive things a person can show to the world. So here is the thread that ties all 4 of these things together. Being grounded, being curious, having values, and having a warm, patient presence. None of these are things you perform like an actor. None of them are tricks to use on a date. They are the natural way a man acts when he has done the real work on his own heart. He knows who he is, values, what he stands for, and what he has to give to a woman. You do not have to be perfect at all four of these things, but the more you can see where you might be missing a piece, the more you can work on filling that gap. And that is the work that is truly worth doing. It doesn't just make you a happier and more sure man, which helps every part of your life, but it also makes finding love and going on dates feel a whole lot easier. Now friends, before I go, if dating after a marriage has ended has felt a little bit more difficult than it should, there is a reason for that. I have put together that free 20-minute talk that explains this very clearly. You are going to see why dating feels confusing or frustrating to you right now. Most importantly, you will understand what actually changes things. And this isn't just basic advice. If you are ready for something more meaningful, not just more dates, but a real bond with a wonderful woman who is truly ready for you, then this is for you. I have built a full program called Dating Mastery for Men that helps you go at your own speed through all the steps of how to do this in your real life. So go ahead and watch that free talk first. You can find the link in the notes here. Thank you so much for your time today. I see you, and I will see you guys again very soon. Goodbye for now.